Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about elements and compounds, part 2. We'll review a little bit about elements, but then we'll be going into compounds as well. So over the past couple of days we've been looking at elements, and we've been looking at this picture here, which is just a picture of a box that's in the periodic table that gives us basic information about an element. It also helps us define the element by letting us know that it is a pure substance, that it's only really made up of one type of atom, and that can't be broken down. And this is the structure of that atom that completes with the protons and the neutrons and the electrons. As we were studying the different elements in the periodic table, we looked at three main things. The first one was the atomic number, which gives us the number of protons in the atom. The next one is the symbol, which is the main abbreviation that's common for the name of the atom and the element. And finally, there's the actual name of the element itself. So in this case, we looked at oxygen that has an atomic number of 8, and its symbol is O. We also looked at some of the main elements that make up the different parts of the Earth, and we looked in some of those areas of the solid parts of the Earth, the living organisms, the oceans, as well as the air. And when we did the circle graphs, this is what we were focusing on. So next we're going to be talking about really what's the difference between an element and a compound. So with that being said, can you guess what this compound is? Basically, maybe you know from elementary. We have two hydrogen atoms that are combining with an oxygen atom. You know, it kind of looks like Mickey Mouse, but if you guessed correctly, you should have gotten H2O, which is water. So now we're going to watch a video that kind of explains the difference between molecules, elements, and compounds.
Elements, as seen on the periodic table, are just one atom. For example, the element hydrogen is just one hydrogen atom. Elements can combine with other elements to form molecules and compounds. An element combines with another of the same type of element to form a molecule. For example, two hydrogen atoms will combine to form hydrogen gas, H2. Two or more different elements combine to form compounds. For example, when two hydrogen atoms combine with one oxygen atom, H2O, or water, is formed.
So we're going to go ahead and take some notes on page 31 of our notebook. It should be on the right hand side, and we'll title it Compound and Mixtures. Now we haven't really talked about mixtures much, but we're going to define the difference between the two here. So the first definition will be compound. A compound is a substance made of two or more elements chemically combined into a single substance. So for example, water would be this, as we see with the example of H2O. So we have two different chemicals combined to make one. The next one is going to be a formula. And a formula is very similar to what the symbol is of one atom, except this one is two or more symbols to show a compound. So for example here, we're going to have one element, C, which is going to be carbon. The next one will be oxygen for O, and we'll actually have two oxygens, and we combine the two to get a compound that you guys know as carbon dioxide, or CO2. The next one will be mixture. Now the difference between compounds and mixtures is that a mixture is two or more substances mixed together without changing the nature of the substance. So for example, the air we breathe. We breathe water particles, which is H2O, and we also breathe carbon dioxide. They can be separated, but they haven't been chemically combined to make something new. So now we're going to go ahead and compare these three different things of elements, compounds, and mixtures. And the first one, we'll do some basic properties of elements. First of all, there's only one kind of atom. You kind of know that as with it being a pure substance. And the only way it can be separated is through nuclear reactions. We talk about that when we talk about splitting the nucleus of an atom. The next is compound. Again, compounds are two or more kinds of atoms that are chemically bonded. They're like super duper 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 tight. But they are still pure, just like how water is. They can't be separated. And if they are separated, they're only separated in chemical reactions. There's something that they got to react with in order to become separated. Otherwise, they're going to stick together forever. And lastly, there's mixtures, which are two or more elements or compounds that are physically together. So we can actually physically separate them. We don't have to have any type of chemical reaction to separate them. They're not pure, again, because they can be separated. And as I said, kind of in the first one, they can be separated in physical reactions. So these are our comparisons, and these are our notes. Make sure, again, that you've put these up on page 31 of your notebook. And I'm going to do one last scan here so you can see how it should look in your notebooks. Again, make sure that you were not skipping, or you were skipping lines just as I were, and try not to use as many lines as I do. As you can see, there's a lot of notes, so it gets pretty tight. And that is it.